and welcome to the program. I'm Bill Hitchcock. It is Monday, October 6th, 2025, and boy, do we have a fantastic program to get out to you. I was going to say in a word, but in a few words, fall has fallen and fall-time fishing has started up. We're going to talk about that. Speckled trout activity in some places has gone ballistic. It's gone nuts. King mackerel is the time of year for it. Spanish mackerel is still around. Big drums still are hanging around. I don't really recall a time for the entire coast of North Carolina when we've had such great drum catches. And speaking of catches, we got viewer catches to get out to you. We even have an offshore report. And the reason why I say even an offshore report is that we have had winds for the past month plus associated with storms, not associated necessarily with storms. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about is this upcoming week, the weather that's about to approach us. Not necessarily a tropical system, but a system that's going to affect our weather. Let's go into that right now. We're going to cover today, this week, coming up, what the conditions, atmospheric and oceanographic conditions are going to be like. Let's take a look. All right, we have a lot of weather information we need to get out to you. We're going to be focusing a lot on wind. Now, here you can see from NOAA, the National Weather Service, and National Hurricane Center, what they are projecting right now. We've got this system, they're calling it Disturbance 1, with a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. But I'm not going to worry about this right now. Right here at the tip, that's 7 days. So let's not worry about that now. I do want to show you this. Now, we've had some very strong winds for the past month or so, as we've seen on the news reports and whatnot. Fishing has been quite interesting, but I want to show you this. This starts off today. This is from the ECMWF, the Euro. Now, this is today. I'm going to start this little in motion here. Watch the wind off the coast of North Carolina. Boom. Let's stop right there. That's this coming Thursday. Each one of those little weather barbs that you see there, you can see that it's got a long stem and then 2.5 short ones. Each one of those long little short stems is 10 knots. So we're looking at 25, 30 knot winds coming this Thursday. Let's play this on out. It gets even stronger coming up on the Saturday. This is what I wanted to point out. Do you see that low pressure system? That is not what the National Hurricane Center has been showing. This is coming up, this projected for this coming Saturday. Watch this thing. It dips down. It's anything under a 1,000 millibars I start to panic about. And you can see the wind that it does generate. And this is this Sunday as that system moves on through. We're going to have strong winds all the way until about next Tuesday. So it looks like Thursday through Monday, we're going to have 25, 30 knot winds, depends on where you are. So it doesn't look like it's going to be the most friendly of situations. Now, let's go into our SatFish satellite imagery, the satellite fishing technology folks. Let me go on and go into the wind section here. We just showed you that starting Thursday, we're going to get a lot of wind. Now, right now when I'm doing this, here are the winds that are coming primarily out of the east. And if you look up here in the top left corner, you'll see the wind direction and speed. I don't know if you can see my cursor, so I'll go over these things like artificial reefs and whatnot. We've got winds right now, 2, 3, 4 knots. Now, that's today, Monday. Let's go into Tuesday. The wind's shifting just a little bit. Looks like it's coming more of a southerly direction. But again, up here off of around the Oregon Inlet area, 5 knot winds. Down here in the Carteret County area, 8, 9 knot winds. Down here in the Wilmington area, 6 knot winds. The heck with it. Let's scoot into that's Thursday. That's what we just saw off of the ECMW. These winds are now coming at 25 knots out of the northeast. Again, remember all those houses falling in the drink in Buxton and Rodanthe? Well, this is why. Here in Onslow Bay, 25 knot winds. Here in front of Bogue Banks, 20 knot winds. Down here out of Cape Fear, 21 knot winds. And into Friday, the Friday projections, it's the easterly wind. Guess what? Same thing, around 23, 25 knots. Look at this, 25 knots down here off of the Wilmington area, 22, 23 knots. So, heck, if you even go offshore here off the South Carolina border, it's, bucking on up to 30 knots. So it looks like it's going to be a very windy Thursday through next Tuesday. So fishing is going to be affected, needless to say. Now, sea surface temperatures, this is a 3-day composite. We finally got enough cloud cover to move so we could get some clean shots. Take a look at this. We got like 70, and again, up here in the top left corner, up the top here where you see the little flashy thing there, it's going to show you the water temperature. We're around 71, 72, 73 degrees going from southern shores, Currituck, all the way down here to the point of Hatteras. Same thing with Pamlico Sound, but once you hit the point of Hatteras, you're starting to see a little bit of a change. You see this warm water. What I find is very cool and warm is coming out of Hatteras Inlet and coming out of Ocracoke Inlet, that they've got like 10 miles in, boom, all of a sudden they go from 70, 72 degree water temperatures into 82 degree water temperatures. But if you look at the shoals, always the shoals are going to be the coolest place. You may recall last week out here, the 90-foot drop, it was around 72, 73 degrees. You can see that the Gulf Stream's warmed up, moved on in, but with those northerly winds, let's see what happens with these warm waters. But we've got this buffer, 74, 75 degrees until we hit the Cape Fear area, and it's about 75 degrees. By the way, if you have a location you'd like for me to zoom in on, just let me know. And let's see, one other thing I want to get into real quickly, the currents. Let's take a look at the currents. You can see the Gulf Stream here. It's moving towards the north-northeast. The wind's going to be coming out of the opposite direction, so if you happen to be out here, be real bucky. But you can see in the cooler areas, it's around 2.5 knots moving, the Gulf Stream. In the warmer areas, it's around 3.5 knots. But as we zoom on in here, you can see that primarily the current is coming out of the southeasterly direction. All right, I'd like to thank SatFish for supplying this information to us, the satellite fishing technology people. Go to their website, satfish.com, satfish.com. Take a look. I think you're going to love what you see. The two things I want to stress is, number one, that low pressure system, which is supposed to form right off the coastline here, is not associated with what the National Hurricane Center is projecting. So be very, very careful. And it looks like we're going to have 25 plus knot winds. And I don't know what the second thing was that I was going to make mention about. If you can go out and call him to work, well, hey, I'm not coming in, I feel great, and go fishing right now. Now, fishing report, let's go up in the Nags Head area. Nags Head Pier from October 4th, 2 days ago, it said, caught this evening by Justin Gibbs from Duck. A beautiful 45-inch bull red. Can't catch these sitting at home. Come to the Nags Head Pier. And you know what? Jeanette's Pier as well. They're there. Salty Waters OBX. This guy fascinates me. He says, I really haven't been focusing on my haul shots this season, but these gents got them good yesterday once we located them. Fall fishing is here, folks, and I still have some October dates available. This guy's been catching speckled trout for a week plus. I mean, this guy go out in 2 half-day charters, come back with a boatload of speckled trout. So congratulations to them. Rigged up charters. Say, glad to get out after a long stretch of bad weather. Got a nice catch of mahi, few tuna, a couple of sailfish. Steve Mosley and the crew from Quality Plus Service. Congratulations to those folks. Outcast Fishing Charters, speckled trout, and some big convicts. Look at that. Yay. Oregon Inlet Fishing Center. This is a great report. It's short, though. This is Oregon Inlet, the entire fishing center, and they're saying solid Sunday fishing yesterday. Mahi, blackfin tuna, catch and release of sailfish, and even white marlin. Now, as you saw in the sea surface temperatures, they're working in a much cooler environment, so some of these billfish catches will start to wane as we go on into fall. Now, Hatteras, Rodanthe Pier, my favorite report, the dry erase board report from Rodanthe Pier. Look at that. This is, again, yesterday. 5 big drum, spot, bluefish, pompano, pigfish, or hogfish, depending on where you're from, flounder, gray trout, and sea mullet. Not B mullet or A mullet, but sea mullet. Want a picture here of a gentleman from Poland, Bartosz, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, with his first ever fish. Nice pompano. And by the way, the shirt that he's wearing is not a Polish word. It's evidently some fashion designer, whatever. And also Braden Durbin from Pennsylvania with a 42-inch red drum, caught and released this morning, Avon Pier. Well, Here we go again. It's the report we've been having for like 4, 5, 6 weeks now. Several drum have been caught today. Of course, Pat caught one too. Congratulations. Now, Frank and Franz, listen to what they have to say. Frank and Franz is from Avon, North Carolina. That's up there by Waves and Rodanthe and north of Buxton, where the latest homes went boop into the drink. They said the surf is continuing to calm down little by little. The sound side continues to produce blues and puppy drum, as well as some larger drum. Bobby caught a 46-inch red on the sound side last night, and Captain Joey Van Dyke and his charter Vengeance surf fishing had a good day, loading up on blues and lots of undersized drum. So the backside, the sound's been productive, while the front side of Hatteras Island has been snotty. I mean, the front side of the winds have been dominant out of the north-northeast, which they will be here in a couple, 3 days, as you just saw. That means the surf gets it, but the sound side, the wind's going over the top of your head, so it's a much conducive environment. Now, spectacular or Hatteras light tackle fishing with Captain Rick Scarborough said had another great trip with Tim Gunning and his friends Justin and T.O. from Philly. Tim and T.O. are firefighters in Philadelphia, and Justin is an ambulance driver. These guys are good fishermen, and we ended up with a cooler full of fish on a very windy day. Now, again, I can't stress in that environment up there that you can fish windy days when it's coming out of the northeast in the sound because the land is protecting you. Same thing in the Bogue Banks area and working on down the Lockwood Folly Inlet area down there, that the land's behind you, the wind's coming off the land, so you're being protected. If the wind switches around, different story. Hatteras Harbor Marina says it was just another inshore scene again today. Today they had good catches of bluefish, mostly puppy drum with a couple of good-sized drum. Tomorrow may see 1 or 2 offshore boats venture out. The wave height has been trending downward. The fish are waiting, and we'll see what happens. And keep that in mind, the offshore swell. It can take a day or two after a system goes on by for the waves to calm on down. It might take, if the waters on the inside, the sound side, get all muddy and yucky because of rain and wind, it might take 2, 3, 4 tide changes before it clears up. Ocracoke, glad to hear from these folks. Tradewinds Bait and Tackle says Josh Mays of Jackson Spring, North Carolina, caught a gorgeous 50-inch red drum just after midnight on October 4th off of Ocracoke's South Point. Now, I had not heard of Jackson Spring, so I went and looked it up because I like North Carolina. I like calling North Carolina home. You're an old person if you know what I just did. And I never heard of Jackson Springs, so here it is. Here's a map. Jackson Springs is just west of Pinehurst, between Fayetteville and Charlotte. All right, in the central coastal area, in between Cape Lookout and Bogue Inlet, Outcast, that's with a K, outdoors. Oh, I love this report. They're out of Swansboro. They say Jonathan and Morgan fished with me Saturday. Well, being 30 weeks pregnant, she can fish. We beat some banks with top water and found a few trout. Jonathan caught a nice overslot trout, about 23 inches, and missed a few also. We ended up with a red and 2 keeper trout in the ice box. Should have had more, but I think we had rubber hooks on our lures. I hate it when that happens. He says, Jonathan took home the Nutty Buddy in the big fish category, and Morgan just took home a Nutty Buddy because she's pregnant. So evidently what they're doing there is, playing the big fish, most fish, first fish, big fish, most fish. And he's giving away Nutty Buddies as prizes. I really like hearing it. It's recreational fishing. It means we're supposed to have fun when we're doing it. And I like to see it when people have fun doing it. Flying Tide Charters out of Atlantic Beach says spent a lot of the afternoon dodging wind and rain, but once we found the fish, the bite was on and caught our limit of blues plus a few Spanish mackerel. Bounty Hunter Guide Service out of Mohead City. All they say is chewing. Drum are out and about. Drum is one of the fish that you can catch year round. You can not at the same spot because they got fins and they swim around. And drum here in North Carolina are basically an east-west fish. They go from the sound to the ocean, ocean to the sound. They don't really go north. They don't really go south. So that is an opportunity, a fishery that you can take advantage of year-round. Cape Crusader Charters out of Atlantic Beach They said the bluefish action has been good with some speckled trout. Here we go. Mixed in. Fall fishing is underway. October is probably the best month of the year. It probably is. Now listen to this. Bogue Inlet Pier, they say it's 74 degrees. They say, now, this is great fishing information. They say the dynamic is changing for the season. We're still seeing Spanish mackerel and bluefish, but also sea mullet spots. And now we're seeing some nice speckled trout. They say congratulations to Andrew Driscoll from Virginia, 5-pound, 9-ounce blue. Jesse Robertson from Pelletier, North Carolina, with a 5-pound, 2-ounce blue. Chase Lambeth from Thomasville, North Carolina, 4-pound, 10-ounce blue. Man, he's a nice-sized bluefish. David Marsh from Greensboro with a 3-pound, 1-ounce Spanish. Jaden Singletary, Emerald Isle, 2-pound, 3-ounce speck. Brian Gilmore from Mount Pleasant, 2-pound, 2-ounce speck. Don Greasy out of Hurt, Virginia, a 2-pound Spanish mackerel. And Terry Harrelson out of Whitaker's with a 1-pound, 8-ounce speck. And my favorite catch of all, Glenn Hall from Morehead City with a 7-ounce spot. Yes. It's, again, have fun with it, people. But I'm telling you, and people hate it when I say it, but a spot will bring more people to the coast of North Carolina fishing than any other fish I can think of. That spot. All right, Surf City Pier. Gary takes the lead for the Who's Bragging Now with a 0.79-pound croaker. Some catches from overnight, spots, croakers, gray trout. Seaview Fishing Pier out of Topsail say a few fish getting caught and size is getting larger. Spots, sea mullets, pompano, and drum. Jolly Roger Pier, it's been a busy week for drum on the pier. Both mid-slot keepers and mini over the slot. 40 inches and above. Yesterday and last night, we had good action with big spots. Bloodworms were the hot ticket for them. We also caught black drum, Virginia mullet, and pompano. Sunset Beach. I just wanted to show you Sunset Beach Pier. Why do they call it Sunset Beach? Here's why. That's isn't that beautiful? That was shot there just 2 days ago at Sunset Beach Pier, but technically that's not a sunset, that's a sunrise. But anyway, it's beautiful. All right, Finn Fisher Charters out of Holden Beach, North Carolina. They say past few mornings, trips haven't been disappointing. We have tomorrow open. If you want to get in on the action, please do. Carolina Inshore Fishing, nice red drum caught off of Oak Island Pier. Congratulations, bud. You may recall it was last week, and I think last Thursday showed that all of a sudden down there in the southern region up to the South Carolina border, that the big drum activity just went ballistic. So again, all up and down the coast of North Carolina, big drum and little drum and in between drum are being caught. Now, viewer catches, the smallest fish. We started this by accident, actually, a couple of days ago, but I want your smallest fish pictures. Joey Winburn sent this in. He said, caught off of pungo, caught on artificial, and I'm not quite sure what he means here. He says, caught on artificial 1-inch shrimp. I don't know if he's got an artificial 1-inch shrimp or caught on artificial, and he's calling this a shrimp. I don't know, but it's a speckled trout. So congratulations to him. Keep sending in those pictures of your smallest catch or your weird catch. I don't care. Send it in. I love this type of thing. Viewer Dan Mitigai here. He says, my son Luke caught this right outside of Beaufort Inlet on a teaser chain. Thanks, Bill. Love your show. Well, I thank you for sending in the pictures. Keith Braswell says, caught this 20.6-pound king mackerel last weekend fishing leg 3 of the Cape Lookout Shootout Classic Series Emerald Isle King Mackerel Tournament. That was a mouthful. Caught just offshore of the Emerald Isle Fishing Pier. Wish I had a video of the king skying 20 feet in the air. Thank you, Keith, very much. And did you notice he said just right off the end of the Bogue Pier? So the kings are in. Why are the kings in close? And the Spanish mackerel in close. A couple of reasons. One, the bait's in. The mullets are in, the spots are in, those things, the croakers are in, so they're all going after that. And you notice the water temperatures. It's around 72, 74 degrees around the long Bogue banks there. Actually, from Cape Lookout going on down. And it's just going to be great. Kings generally like that 68, 70, 72 degree water temperature, so things ought to be improving. All right, viewer Wesley Stansel, he said, found the elusive flounder. He said, season had not come in, so we threw it back. Among other reasons, he said, I cheated and used a cast net, but I was casting for bait under the bridge at Surf City. Enjoy your show. Thanks an ounce. I meant thanks a ton. Keep up the good work, Wesley. Wesley, keep the humor coming. I love stuff like that. Email me, billhitchcock@mail.com, billhitchcock@mail.com. Your fishy pictures. Well, actually, not just your fishing pictures. Send in your smallest catch. I love that type of thing. Send in your what the heck is this? I love that type of thing. Take a picture of your bait, your lure, your setup, how to do video of how to throw a cast net, anything. Send it on in. Love to get it on air. Again, billhitchcock@mail.com. It looks like later on in the week, around Thursday of this week, it's going to be windy, and it looks like it's going to be windy on through the weekend. So we will keep you informed as to what's going on. Until then, I'm Bill Hitchcock. See you next time. See ya.